Happy Christmas, motherfucker. My bad. I Happy Christmas. Today's Christmas Day. It was a cute day, man. I enjoyed it. I woke up in the morning, did some stuff. I took a test, but supposed to meet up with family. Like the other side, there's my mom's side of the family where my grandma just passed, and my father's side of the family. I figured it'll be a fun day. I'd engage with people that are cool, and they are. They definitely are. I'd be able to like hang out with them, sit with them, just like basically chill and be relaxed. At one point, it was weird, and it made a note out of it specifically. And the reason it was weird is because I started kind of like feeling icky. And I explained this icky feeling as like you kind of like well, I would want to understand that I would want to believe that this icky feeling that I'm talking about is what modern day anxiety feels like. And then I stood there and I was like, why do I feel that way? And then from there, basically, this video is going to happen. So, I don't know how people feel when they're anxious. For me, it just kind of like my mind starts throwing things from different places in front of me at the forefront. And effectively, when that happens, I kind of start, no, I notice that I start kind of like moving around a bit more, trying to like position myself in a different space because whatever's happening is something that's not really benefiting. I don't know. It's like it's my natural like response is to like I'm uncomfortable here, go somewhere else, I guess. But it's not that I'm uncomfortable. It's just like something is giving me discomfort. You know. So basically, and I stopped. I remember when it started happening, I stopped and I was like, why is this? And I remember we were talking about what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do it. And ultimately, there was kind of like this back and forth argument where we are trying to engage and see how, I don't know if it's see each other's views, if it's explore, articulate what we want. Like each one of us kind of wanted to put an input out there. It's funny because for me, playing cards with family, if listening is a skill, what are the lessons? Life is suffering. Okay, playing cards to win versus playing cards to enjoy in order to enjoy. Not eating because forced. Okay, a lot happened today. Fuck, man, I wrote like 5 videos because of today. It's just like family time is always in your fucking face. One is how people bring out the worst in us. And your mind assigns blame based on what you accept. Miyamoto Musashi quote as well, like appended. So today we have 5 videos, and these 5 videos have nothing to do with the rest of the stuff that I've been building up to. So between now till the end of the year, I need to go through 20 videos in order to explore and end this year properly, 2023. Remember, today is Christmas. But so, anyways, uh, so in this engagement, I felt what I think people would call anxiety. And the first thing I did was, is it them? Or is it what we're talking about? Or is it the feeling? And if I'm not mistaken, there was an awkward song that was kind of like humming. It was like it was an Aramaic song. It was humming and it gave me a tingly feeling. And that tingly feeling made me think, brought in some like negative shit because naturally like it's the church and you can't trust these fuckers and you can't trust any religious organization regardless of who they are and what they are. So like first thing my mind was like, these songs as beautiful as they are, they kind of like they build people, they train people from a young age to start being that kind of person to sing, to do all that stuff. And over the past like 20 years, with all the shit that we've been hearing about the church and all the shit that they've been doing, my mind started trying to associate things with each other. And I was like, because there's a certain kind of like cult-ish behavior behind the church. There's like patterns that they kind of create. There's rituals that they have. And then I was like, maybe these affect people differently. And anxiously, I stopped and I looked and I was like, no, and this song is making me feel stuff. So maybe that's like it, like her. And then family are talking about different things. I'm not really understanding them. And I'm looking at how they're interacting with each other. And I'm like, they're not really listening to each other. So I started looking at maybe I'm not listening. So at one point, I like completely detached myself from the situation. And if I'm not mistaken, like one of the cousins of the family kind of like felt uncomfortable. So when she felt uncomfortable, she made like one of those jokes that made me like go like, why the fuck would you say a joke like that? And then she's like, that's my sick nature. And I'm like, okay, so basically that's your humor, which is twisted and horrible. But ultimately, I noticed how I basically took her humor and attached it to different things, which brought me to myself. Funny enough, when I started looking outside of myself, it became easier to interact with things. So naturally, I feel like when we're anxious, what happens is around people, we don't feel safe anymore. And then I looked at my aunt and I was like, I trust her, I love her, and everything like this. And I looked at my cousin, I was like, I trust her, I love her, and everything like this. Although I wasn't providing a safe place for her because I was kind of like arguing with her directly, trying to prove a point. And even though it was a valid point to prove because of how she was speaking, I had come to the realization over there, but like even though it's a valid point, it wasn't one that she was taking, and she was like being defensive, and that kind of put me on edge as well. And it's like, why the fuck are you doing this? And then like when you're realizing, when you're self-actualizing with the people that are in front of you in real time, I think that's like super awesome because like to be able to reach that and not carry things with you to different places is actually like something very positive. And then my great aunt was there as well, and we were discussing random things and whatever. But the vibe kind of like changed again. Well, what got to me was the fact that I dove kind of like I was exposed to whatever thing that could be anxious, and I came out of it. But when I came out of it, I came out of it as me, right? Because once you're kind of like having different thoughts, you're not really feeling yourself, feeling like yourself. And then what is yourself if not for the documented history that you have in your own head with yourself? And so naturally, I kind of like, it took me another 10 minutes, 20 minutes for me to be doing everything on autopilot mode, right? Because, like, no, I kind of am outside working with them, which is calming me down, but also like interacting in my head with myself and reestablishing my history and my behaviors and kind of like assessing. And I feel like that's a hard part when it comes to like anxiety or when it comes to like change, because the process of change is kind of like a grind. Because if you're doing something different now, you kind of have to reflect on how you did it before and you have to adjust that pattern in a way that allows it to be a valid experience, that allows it to be an experience that pushes you out of the pattern that existed before. So you have your mind, I think, does that automatically where it starts like jumping from place to place. And that's why when people say take a step back and process, like just observe what's going on. But this act of observing is a lot more, it's a lot easier said than done because there's a lot that could happen if you're just standing there. So your intention plays a big role. And ultimately, you're pointing at things and you're like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. Oh, this is true part of my past. This, oh, I remember this part. Oh, is it truly resolved? And you're going to be thinking about all these things back and forth. But, anyways, it's funny because that was like the initial kind of like tentative approach to the day, which was pretty cool. And the whole point of the day was just to hang out and do jack shit. Like I didn't want to work, I didn't want to do anything. Although when I first got there, the first thing I did was like take my book and I was like, okay, so at least I did like 5 pages of my book, which is supposed to finish today. I got two quests, the videos and finishing that book. I only have 20 pages left, and it's information I already know. It's just connected differently. So I really want to like get it over with, but it seems every time I read 5, 6 pages, I stop, and that's me absorbing information differently and allowing it to sink differently. Fun things. But anyways, a quest is a quest, and it needs to be finished on time, or else your payment will not be due. That's basically how we operate in this day and age. Huh. I yeah. There's a lot more that I want to talk about. So I think I'll take it step by step. That last video was the last video I'm going to do. it's probably going to be the one that's frustrating the most because like something happened that was horrible, but horrible in terms of like why would you fuck with the vibe, man? Just because they wanted to impose some power, they wanted to feel in control. It's shitty, but I guess we'll get to that. I don't know. I think it's always within our nature to not want things to be completely different. I don't think people are able to completely be to trust others. And trusting others is not intentionally trusting others, is intentionally letting go around them. And that's how you kind of realize that you're trusting them, right? That's how you realize you're looking at them as people that are like next to you, that like you, that support you, that want you to be happy and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really ruined more than it was kind of like, disturbed. Like, why the fuck would you be stupid enough to be that kind of person? And I'm talking about myself because I'm the one who literally got a bit, I say, too comfortable. And the rule I broke was eating before everyone's sitting on the fucking table. And I should have noticed that could be a big deal. That's it. Thank you guys. Sorry, man, my anime just started playing in case you guys are listening to it. I'm watching Dr. Stone. So it's an anticlimactic like ending, right? All right, babies. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video.